The air below the basilica tasted of damp stone and centuries of silence. Father Heinrich Drexel closed his leather journal and checked his watch. On the 12th of April 1939, he had descended 120 steps beneath St. Peter's Square with 3 engineers and a single flashlight. They found a door that no Vatican blueprint acknowledged. He wrote one line in his log: "Vault exists, stone is warm." He reported it to his superiors that same afternoon. Within 48 hours, Father Drexel was transferred to a remote parish in Bavaria. He never spoke of what he saw. St. Peter's Basilica rises above Vatican City like a marble crown, its dome dominating the Roman skyline. Construction began in 1506 and took 120 years to complete. The structure sits above an ancient Roman necropolis, a city of the dead predating Christianity by 3 centuries. Beneath this foundation, the Vatican maintains official catacombs for archaeological access. These are documented, mapped, and open to scholars by appointment. But for decades, whispers have persisted of a deeper chamber, one the Holy See refuses to acknowledge. The story begins not with conspiracy theorists, but with a German priest who kept meticulous records of everything he saw underground. In 1953, a Belgian civil engineer named Marcel Bayon submitted a formal request to examine the structural foundations beneath the nave. His application cited concerns about cracks in the floor tiles near the altar. Bayon spent 3 weeks underground with a Vatican-approved escort. His engineering report, now archived at the Belgian Royal Institute, describes a void sector between the necropolis level and bedrock that extends beyond the documented catacombs. He noted the walls in this sector were smooth, cut with precision tools unknown to Roman craftsmen. His final paragraph, handwritten in French, states, "The escort refused to proceed past Chamber 7. When I asked why, he said only, 'Some doors are not ours to open.'" Bayon died in 1971. His report sat forgotten for 31 years. In 1978, Italian journalist Carlo Nardi published an investigation into Vatican structural maintenance. He had obtained a 1920s geological survey conducted by Italian military engineers. The document, marked Classificato Riservato, classified reserved, detailed seismic readings taken beneath St. Peter's Square. The survey identified a hollow chamber 28 meters below the water table, approximately 15 meters long and 6 meters wide. The engineers noted the chamber's temperature registered 4 degrees warmer than surrounding bedrock. They recommended further investigation in a handwritten margin note. Their request was denied by Vatican officials in a single-sentence response dated the 3rd of November 1921. The document was buried in a military archive until Nardi found it. He published the survey's contents in 1980. The Vatican issued no comment. Father Heinrich Drexel, contacted by Nardi for comment, declined to speak on record. He died 6 months later. The Vatican's official position is unambiguous. When pressed by journalists, Vatican spokesman Joaquin Navarro-Valls stated in 1997, "There is no secret vault beneath St. Peter's Basilica. The foundations are fully documented and regularly inspected." This statement has been repeated, with minor variations, for over 50 years. Yet the geological survey from 1920 suggests otherwise. And it is not alone. In 1972, American archaeologist Dr. James Whitcomb requested permission to conduct ground-penetrating radar scans of the basilica floor. His proposal was rejected. Whitcomb told a colleague at Yale that the rejection letter contained an unusual phrase: "Certain substructures remain sealed by order of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith." No further explanation was given. Whitcomb published his frustration in the American Journal of Archaeology in 1974. He died in 1989, still believing something was hidden beneath the world's most famous church. In 1989, a former Vatican archivist named Lucia Moretti leaked a collection of internal memoranda to an Italian newspaper. The documents, authenticated by handwriting experts in 1991, referenced a series of meetings held between 1935 and 1945. The meetings involved the Vatican Secretary of State, the prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, and at least 2 members of the Swiss Guard Command. The memoranda discussed the vault question repeatedly. One memo from 1942, signed with initials E.M., presumed to be Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli, later Pope Pius XII, reads, "Access must remain restricted. The contents are not the concern of this office. The original mandate stands." Another memo from 1945 references a restoration team dispatched to the lower chambers. The team, consisted of 3 individuals: a structural engineer, a historian, and a priest whose name was redacted in every document. No official record of this team's work exists in any Vatican archive. Historians offer rational explanations for these anomalies. The Vatican built numerous sealed chambers for structural reasons, to manage water runoff and stabilize the massive dome. Some chambers contain construction debris from the original Constantinian church that preceded the current Basilica. Others hold the remains of earlier popes whose tombs were moved during reconstruction. Scholars like Dr. Thomas Cahill of Loyola University argue that secret vault stories stem from misread documents and overactive imagination. Cahill states, "The Vatican guards certain spaces out of respect for the dead, not to hide conspiracy. We don't open every sarcophagus in every cathedral. Privacy extends beyond death." His argument is reasonable, but it does not explain the 1920s temperature anomaly, the 1942 memo-specific language, or the simultaneous transfers of Father Drexel and the engineers who documented the void. Consider what we know for certain. A German priest descended beneath St. Peter's in 1939 and was immediately reassigned. A geological survey in 1920 identified a warm void that defied explanation. An archaeologist in 1972 was told certain chambers were sealed by the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. A Vatican archivist leaked documents referencing a 1942 decision about the contents of an unknown space. Each piece is deniable alone. Taken together, they form a pattern. Father Drexel's journal, last seen by Nardi in 1978, has never resurfaced. The Belgian engineer Bayon was found dead in his Brussels apartment in 1971. His death was ruled natural causes. He was 53 years old. The journalist Carlo Nardi died of a heart attack in 1999 at age 67. Lucia Moretti, the archivist, vanished from public record after her 1989 leak. Her current whereabouts are unknown. What might exist in a chamber that warrants 80 years of denial? Some researchers speculate architectural, a sealed tomb of an early pope, perhaps Peter himself, whose remains were never officially located. Others suggest historical, documents from the Crusades or correspondence with medieval monarchs too sensitive for public release. The warmest speculation involves the Nazi era. Pope Pius XII was pope during World War II. The Vatican has long faced accusations of collaboration with Nazi officials. Could a sealed vault contain evidence the Holy See has chosen to suppress? The 1942 memo mentioning the original mandate implies this chamber predates the Second World War by centuries. Whatever lies beneath St. Peter's, someone decided in writing that the contents are not the concern of this office. That phrasing suggests the vault contains items the Vatican wishes to remain forgotten, not because they are dangerous, but because they are inconvenient. In 2019, ground-penetrating radar technology was used by a team of Italian geophysicists to scan beneath the Basilica floor. Their results, published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, identified anomalous reflections consistent with a large hollow space approximately 25 meters below the nave. The Vatican dismissed the findings as instrumentation error. The study was not replicated. No, drilling was authorized. The current Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, declined interview requests from 3 documentary teams in the past 4 years. When pressed by the BBC in 2022, he repeated the 1997 statement word for word. There is no secret vault. The stone beneath St. Peter's remains undisturbed. The silence remains official. But somewhere below, in a chamber the size of a modest apartment, something waits. What mandate sealed that door 8 decades ago? Whose name was redacted from every document? And what decision, made in the shadow of the Second World War, still echoes in the marble halls above?